Good morning, dear students of intermediate first year. I'd like to welcome you at the very beginning of my today's lecture. I started with question number 3 of English second paper. Actually, this class was supposed to be conducted by our chairman sir, but because of his busyness, I have been given the opportunity to conduct today's class. That's why I'd like to thank our chairman sir, because I started with question number 3 of English second paper and I have got another opportunity to go on with question number 3. That means gap filling with phrases and words. As you know, we completed 4 phrases in our last class, and today I would like to talk about another 4 or 5 important words or phrases. And these phrases and words are not only important for question number 3, they are also important for completing sentences as well as transformation of sentences. You know that there are 2 topics, namely transformation of sentence and completing sentence. Completing sentence and transformation of sentences also contain these rules and regulations that I am going to talk about today. So my dear students, we are going to start with question number 3, meaning gap filling with phrases and words. I started this topic in my last class, you can remember, and I'd like to go on with this. And I have an earnest request towards you. You are requested to participate in this class, and I'm sure you will enjoy. Okay, so my dear students, let us start with word or phrase number 5, because we completed 4 phrases in our last class. So word or phrase number 5. Dear students, today I will not tell you the target word or phrase. I will give you example and you have to look for the word and phrase. After you have been able to identify the word and phrase, I will talk about the rules and regulations, or I will talk about how to use these word and phrase. So my dear students, I am going to talk about word or phrase number 5. I don't know which phrase or word I am going to talk about. You are requested to find it out. So I am going to start with question, that means problem at first. Dear students, you are going to be given a problem and you are requested to give me the solution, that means the answer. I'd like to give you a blank in the sentence and you have to fill in the blanks with a suitable word or phrase. Look at the board. Word or phrase number 5. I don't know the word or phrase. Now I need to give you an example. Okay. For the development of our motherland, women play an important role. This is the additional information. Okay, now I'm going to give you a blank. Dash needs no telling that dash needs no telling that they are also important for our they also are also important for our economy. Dear students, look at please. For the development of our motherland, women play an important role. Dash needs no telling that they are also important for our economy. Dear students, this is the additional sentence, and in this sentence I have given a blank. Now tell me the answer. What should be used in this blank? I want my every student to participate in this class. Okay, some of you are writing the answer. Abu Huraira, thank you. Rohan, thank you. Mr. Ronnie, thank you. Okay, Shafi, thank you. I'm really delighted to have your answers. You are absolutely correct. Most of you are absolutely correct. We are going to start with eat. For question number 3, my dear students, for question number 3, eat is an important word. We need to talk about eat. So our first target for today is word or phrase. This is word number 5, and that is introductory eat. So we need to talk about introductory eat, but question arises, what an introductory eat is? Who can tell me? Can anybody tell me what an introductory eat is? Who can tell me? Who can tell me? Ishrat, thank you. Absolutely correct. Okay, I have got the solutions or answer from you. Now tell me what introductory eat is. Who can tell me? Yes, tell me. Okay, you can't use there, you have to use it. So we will not accept the answer there. Okay, so dear students, now I am going to talk about introductory eat. You know that at the very beginning of an English sentence, we get the subject, then the verb. At the very beginning of an English sentence, we get the subject, then the verb. For example, Jeba likes cooking. Jeba likes cooking. Jeba is the subject, likes is the verb. Okay, so an English sentence maintains the structure subject, verb, object. This is the structure of an English sentence. Normally an English sentence contains the subject, then the verb comes, and after verb there might be object. So SVO is the actual format of constructing English sentence. Actually this is called syntax. What is syntax? Syntax is the process of building up a sentence. And what is the syntax of English? We have to get the subject, then the verb, then the object. Question is, Jeba is the subject, likes is the verb, cooking is the object. If I say, it is known to me, just to look at this it. I have started the sentence with it. So it is such a word. It is such a word which introduces the sentence. The it which we use at the very beginning of a sentence is actually called introductory it. Is it clear to you? If you get any it at the very beginning of a sentence, definitely this it is called introductory it. Clear to you? One thing should be kept in mind, that is, after introductory it, you must have to use singular verb. This concept must be kept in mind. if you get any introductory it at the beginning of a sentence, you must have to take singular verb after introductory it. Okay, I told you that it needs no telling. It third person singular, that's why I have used needs. Here it is the subject, it is used at the beginning of an English sentence, that's why I have used is. So dear students, you can get one question, at question number 3 where you have to answer with it. So my dear students, I have talked about introductory it. Now let's talk about another one. Okay, now I'd like to talk about another thing, but I will not tell you the target word or phrase. You have to find out the answer at first. After you give me the answer, I will start talking about that target word or phrase. The students in the class remained up and doing. The students in the class remained up and doing. The student up and doing is a phrase. Up and doing is a phrase. The students in the class remained up and doing. Up and doing is a phrase, and this phrase conveys the meaning serious. If you get the meaning, if you get the phrase up and doing, it contains the meaning serious. So what is the meaning? What is the synonym of up and doing? You can say serious. I am up and doing. What does it mean? I am serious. Okay. The students in the class remained up and doing dash the teacher dash the teacher entered, they at once stood up. What should be the answer? I have given you the problem. Now you are requested to give me the solution. Okay. Nusrat Disra, just listen to what I say carefully and then you will be able to understand me. Where are the answers? Give me the answer as soon as possible. Fahad, thank you. Fardin, thank you. Masum Billah, sorry. Okay, Masum Billah, you are also correct. Siam Khan, thank you. Faisal, thank you. Sinanuddin, thank you. What are the other answers? Abdur Rahman, thank you. Nafis, thank you. Pritam, thank you. Yes, excellent delivery from you. Okay, look at the bird. I have got the answer from you. It should be as soon as. As soon as. So our target is as soon as. Clear? Now I want to express how we can use as soon as. Okay, the students, as soon as is a conjunctional phrase. As soon as is a phrase, and this phrase works as a conjunction. For this reason, we can call as soon as a conjunctional phrase. How to use this conjunctional phrase is our target right now. Actually, as soon as conjuncts two events of the past tense. and these past tenses are shaped in past indefinite tenses. In other words, I can say as soon as conjuncts two events of the past tense, and these two events must be categorized into past indefinite tense. Simply, I can tell you as soon as connects two past indefinite tenses. Okay, and these two events occur at the same time. Okay, so as soon as connects two events of the past tense, I can say two past tenses, I can say two past indefinite tenses, and these past indefinite tenses occur at the same time. Look at the board. We have used two events here. The first one is the teacher entered, and the second one is the students stood up. The standing of the entrance of the teacher and the standing up of the students has occurred at the same time. That's why we can use as soon as. In Bengali, this as soon as carries the meaning jokhoni. Is it clear to you, my dear students? So as soon as the teacher entered, they at once stood up. Okay, so my dear students, I have talked about as soon as, but something is there for you. Look at some of the students are confused with up and doing. Look at, please try to learn up and doing, up and down, up and doing. I have given you three phrases. I have given you three phrases. Now, who can give me the Bengali meaning of these three phrases? Who can? Who can? Yes, Nazmul, you can use also when here. You can also use when. Up and doing, up and down, up. Sorry, it should be ups and downs. Now, give me the Bengali meaning of these three phrases. Up and doing, up and down, ups and downs. Okay. I have given you three phrases, so give me three Bengali meanings. Tamji, thank you. Okay. No. Some of you are correct. In Bengali, I'm going to write some Bengali meanings, okay? Although classes should be conducted in English. Okay, look at. Up and doing, you can say serious. Up and doing means serious. Up and down means here and there. And this one, ups and downs, means rise and fall. This is the English meanings that I have given you. Now I'd like to tell you the Bengali meaning here. Up and doing means serious, totpor in Bengali. Up and down means edik odik. It is called here and there. Ups and down means utthat paton, that is rise and fall. I'm extremely sorry, my dear students. So I have given you the meaning. Now let's come back to as soon as. as soon as is used in question number 3 of English second paper. This as soon as is also important for question number 4, that is completing sentence. So we can take the chance of learning both question number 3 or 4. Okay, even this one can be given in transformation of sentence also. For example, if you are given as soon as the teacher entered dash 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 dash, you have to write the answer, and I have told you that as soon as connects two events of the past tense, and these events should be in past indefinite tense. Okay, now I'd like to give you some concept regarding transformation of sentence related to as soon as. You know that as soon as contains two events and they become actually affirmative. If we get as soon as in affirmative sentence, what should we do to turn it into negative? This is our 6th target. Okay, what should we use to make negative if we get any example with the use of as soon as? Okay, if you get any use of as soon as in an affirmative sentence, in order to make it negative, you have to use no sooner blah 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 than, scarcely blah 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 when, hardly blah 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 when, or before. The students, look at, we have to learn no sooner blah blah than, scarcely blah blah when, hardly blah blah when. Actually, we shouldn't, look at my dear students, we shouldn't memorize no sooner had, we shouldn't memorize scarcely had, we shouldn't memorize hardly had. Why should we memorize? Why we shouldn't memorize? Now I'd like to teach these phrases, these correlative conjunctions in a different way today. Today we will know why we should use had. We will know why we should use had. We shouldn't memorize scarcely had, hardly had, blah 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 blah. So my dear students, if you get any affirmative sentence with the use of as soon as, in order to turn it into negative, you can use no sooner blah blah than, scarcely blah blah when, hardly blah blah when. Okay, now I would like to show you how to use this no sooner or scarcely or hardly. Clear to you? Look at the board. No sooner blah blah than, no sooner blah 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 than, scarcely blah 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 when, hardly blah 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 when, or before. Dear students, no sooner blah blah than, scarcely blah blah when, hardly blah blah when, or before. Are you confused with blah 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 blah? Actually, we the English teachers use this blah 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 in our classroom, so don't be confused with blah blah. Okay, no sooner blah blah than, scarcely blah blah when, hardly blah blah when, or before. You can also say no sooner dot 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 dot. You can say, no problem. So my dear students, no sooner blah blah than, scarcely blah blah when, hardly blah blah when. Jahidul, you are being naughty here. Okay, don't destroy the environment. No sooner blah blah than, scarcely blah blah when, hardly blah blah when. We have already come to know that these are dear students, Actually, these are correlative conjunctions. Okay, scarce, no sooner, scarcely, hardly. These are called correlative conjunctions. There are a lot of correlative conjunctions. I'd like to make fun right now. I'd like to tell you a story of my life. When I was in intermediate level, my teacher, from whom I learned a lot, told me that not only but also both blah blah then, so blah blah as blah blah as, so blah blah that, to blah blah to, no sooner blah blah than, scarcely blah blah when, hardly blah blah when or before. These are called correlative conjunctions. Actually, they are called Bandhavi conjunction. According to my teacher in intermediate level, I can still remember. Whatever it is, correlative conjunctions are those which in which we get two conjunctions one after another. Not a single conjunction is there. There are two words connected, and these two words combinedly become a conjunction. Okay, these are called correlative conjunctions. Dear students, as soon as, look at me, this is very very important. I am going to show you a very interesting grammatical item. As soon as connects two past indefinite tenses. I have already told you that. But if you turn this as soon as added affirmative sentence into negative, you have to turn one past indefinite into past perfect. You have to turn one past indefinite into past perfect. Okay, and this past perfect will be used here. Okay, one past indefinite will be turned into past perfect and the other past indefinite will remain the same. Okay, so I can use here, first indefinite. First indefinite. Actually, through live class we can enjoy, but a real classroom is really enjoyable. Okay, we are waiting for the moment when the schools and colleges will be reopened. We are waiting. Okay, don't get hopeless. We can expect to get better environment in the days ahead. So I can use no sooner blah blah then, scarcely blah blah when, hardly blah blah when. Inside these you have to use past perfect then past indefinite. These are the structure, dear student. These are the structure. Okay. Now one thing that I should use here, we are going to use past perfect tense. But do you know the structure of past perfect tense, my dear students? Do you know the structure of past perfect tense? I think most of you know. Subject, then auxiliary had, then past participle, then object. This is the structure of past perfect tense. Subject, then auxiliary verb had. For past perfect tense, you have to use the auxiliary had, then the past participle, then object. This is an example. This is the structure of past perfect tense. I am repeating. This is the structure of past perfect tense. Subject, then auxiliary verb had, then the past participle from. Dear students, what is the auxiliary verb of past perfect tense? The auxiliary verb of past perfect tense is had. Is had. Keep it in mind. Keep it in mind that had is the auxiliary verb of past perfect tense. Okay. Here you are going to use past perfect. But look at dear students. I have started with no sooner, scarcely, hardly. I have started with no sooner, scarcely, hardly. I have started with no sooner, scarcely, hardly. I have one question for you. Don't no sooner, scarcely, hardly belong to negative? Don't no sooner, scarcely, hardly contain not in them? What do you think? What do you think? No sooner, scarcely, hardly. No sooner, scarcely, hardly. These all are negative words. Can I say that? I have a request for you. You are requested not to destroy the environment of the comment box. We are learning through enjoyment. Dear students, we are learning through enjoyment. You are requested to be serious in the comment box. Please don't write anything that destroys the environment of our learning process. I have a request towards you. Okay. So my dear students, no sooner, scarcely, hardly, these are negative words. These are negative words. I am repeating, these are negative words. There is a grammar. There is a grammar in higher level and it is called negatives. It's called inversion. It is called inversion. It is called inversion. What is inversion? Inversion means to inverse. Inversion means to inverse. Here inverse means ultaya dewa. Look at please. Here inverse means ultaya dewa. In English sentence, the process of inversion inversion is completed when we put the auxiliary verb before the subject. Inversion occurs in English sentence. Inversion, look at please. Inversion occurs in English sentence when auxiliary verb comes first, then the subject. We know that. Look at, he walks. Does he walk? Look at please. He walks, does he walk? Look at this sentence, just he walks, does he walk? In this, the first one, according to the first one, he is the subject, then the verb. But here I have used the verb before the subject. Why? This is an interrogative sentence. I have used the auxiliary verb before the subject. If you get any auxiliary verb before the subject, that means you are going to use the process inversion. Inversion refers to the process. Inversion is the process when or where we put auxiliary verb before the subject. Okay, where we put the auxiliary verb before the subject. Inversion is the process where we put the auxiliary verb before the subject. There is one grammar. If you get any negative words at the beginning, if you get negative words at the beginning of an English sentence, this English sentence must maintain the process inversion. Look at the board. No sooner, scarcely, hardly. No sooner, scarcely, hardly. These all are negative words. So it is a must to use the process inversion After no sooner, scarcely, hardly. Okay. After no sooner, scarcely, hardly. As we get past perfect tense after no sooner, scarcely, hardly. As no sooner, scarcely, hardly are negative words, we have to ensure the process inversion after no sooner, scarcely, hardly. Look at no sooner the teacher had entered the classroom. Look at the students. I have used no sooner and we have got past perfect tense. Definitely you will tell that I have made a mistake in this sentence. Definitely I have made a mistake. I know that I have made a mistake, but I would like to know the correct one. I want to know the correct one. Look at this. I have started with no sooner. No sooner is a negative word. That's why I have to ensure the process inversion. What is inversion? Inversion means the process to put the auxiliary verb before the subject. That's why had should be before the subject. Don't memorize no sooner had. If you know the grammar inversion, if you know the grammar inversion, you are not needed. You don't need to memorize no sooner had, scarcely had, hardly had. You shouldn't memorize. You should think after no sooner, scarcely, hardly, past perfect tense is used, and the auxiliary verb of past perfect tense is had. As no sooner, scarcely, hardly maintain the process inversion, we have to put the auxiliary verb had before the subject. Okay, have you got me? No sooner had the teacher. Why? No sooner is the negative word. That's why I have to use the auxiliary had before the subject, because we need to use inversion. It is a must to use inversion if you get negative words like as soon as, no sooner, scarcely, or hardly. So, my dear students, now I can take a decision. If you get no sooner, scarcely, hardly at the beginning of an English sentence, definitely you have to put the auxiliary verb had before the subject, and putting the auxiliary verb before the subject is the actual process of inversion. Clear to you? Clear to you, dear students? Now I am going to give you another example. Little my father earns. What do you think? This sentence is correct or not? What do you think, whether this sentence is correct or not? What do you think, whether this sentence is correct or not? Look at the sentence. Little my father earns. Wait, Monir Khan has asked an important question. Monir Khan has asked an important question. Mr. Monir, I would like to give you your answer through this question. Monir, you have to be alert right now. I will tell you. Little my father earns. What do you think? This sentence is grammatically correct or not? I want to use the sentence. I want to use this word little at the beginning. Definitely I want to use. If I want to use the word little at the beginning, how should I write the sentence? Look at, I'm going to explain. Little is also a negative word. Little is also a negative word, and I'd like to help you. There is a list of negative words. Those who are interested in learning are requested to search online. Okay, there is a list of negative words. If you get those negative words at the beginning of an English sentence, you must have to mention the process inversion. The list is there. You are requested to search online. You will get. Little is also a negative word. As little is a negative word, we will have to use the process inversion. But a student named Monir asked me a question 2 minutes back. Now I'd like to tell the answer of Monir's question. If you maintain the process inversion, you are not allowed to use question mark, because the sentence which is with inversion is not actually the sentence which is with inversion. That means starting with negative words is actually not a example of interrogative sentence. If you get, I'm going to repeat, if you get negative words at the beginning of a sentence, that means you are going to use the process inversion. And if you start with inversion because of negative words, you shouldn't use any question mark, because this is not an example of interrogative sentence. But in real interrogative sentence, you must have to use inversion, and at the end of this sentence you have to put question mark. There are two types of inversion. One, you have to use inversion in interrogative sentence. In interrogative sentence, you have to put the auxiliary verb before the subject, but at the end of this sentence, you must have to put question mark. But if you get bound to use inversion because of negative words at the beginning of this sentence, you are requested not to use any question mark, because inversion with negative words at the beginning, doesn't belong to interrogative sentence. Okay, and I'd like to clarify it with this example. This is a wrong sentence. Now I'd like to make it correct. Why? How? Little. From here, look for an auxiliary verb. Look for an auxiliary verb. In this verb, you will get an auxiliary verb, and the auxiliary verb is does. If I ask you to make us interrogative sentence, definitely you will start with does, because if you get s or es with the verb, you have to use the auxiliary does. That's why I have to use the auxiliary does before the subject, my father. Little does my father earn. This is the actual correct sentence. Little does my father earn. But you are not used to put question mark. If you put question mark, you will be 0 for that. Okay? Is inversion clear to you? Inversion means the process by which you put the auxiliary verb before the subject. Now I'd like to give you an example that will be really beneficial to you for your university admission test. Okay, now I'm to give you a question and you will get 4 options, and you are requested to tell me your target option, that means your answer. Look at the board. Question is, which of the following is not students, look at the question. Which of the following is not incorrect? What does it mean? Which of the following is not incorrect? That means you have to look for the correct sentence. Okay, Hardly my friends smoke. Hardly do my friends smoke. C. Hardly my friends do smoke. Option D. Hardly do my friends smoke. What should be the answer? Hardly my friends smoke. Hardly do my friends smoke? Question mark. Dispose of this question mark. Hardly my friends do smoke. Hardly do my friends smoke. Full stop. Which one is the answer? Which one is the answer, dear students? Which one is the answer? Siam Khan, thank you. Imran, thank you. Atikur Rahman, thank you. Momin, Monir, excellent. The fourth one is correct. All right, thank you. Hardly is a negative word. Dear students, my dear students of intermediate level, intermediate first year, I know that there are some students of second year also. There are students of Dhaka College and other colleges also. I'd like to especially thank you for today's active participation. Hardly is a negative word. Because of hardly, we have to use the auxiliary verb. And we will take the auxiliary verb according to the tense of the sentence. This is an example of present indefinite tense, and the main verb is smoke. That's why I have used smoke. And in smoke, you have got the auxiliary verb do. Here, because of hardly, we have to use the process inversion. Here inversion has not been used. Here inversion has been used, but I have put question mark. This is not important. Monir Khan, you asked me a question. Have you got the answer? Monir Khan, you have asked a question. Have you got the answer? I think you have got the answer. You are not allowed to use question mark because the inversion process, because there are some inversion processes which happen because of negative words, and if you get inversion because of negative words, you are not allowed to use question mark because these do not belong to interrogative sentence. Hardly my fathers do smoke. This is not the correct one. The fourth one is the correct option. Okay, we have almost talked about 48 minutes. Now I'd like to talk about one more word, and that is word or phrase number 7. I have a very short time, and that is introductory there. Now I'd like to talk about introductory there. I have already talked about introductory it, and you know that if you get any it at the beginning of a sentence, it will be called introductory it. The same thing can be applicable to introductory there. If you get there at the beginning of a sentence, and if this there introduces the sentence, this one will be introductory there. But one thing should be kept in mind, that is introductory it only takes singular verb, but introductory there takes both singular verb and plural verb. Okay, there plus singular verb, there plus plural verb, if you get introductory there at the beginning of a sentence, the verb of this sentence agrees according to the subject used after this verb. Okay, after there you can take singular and plural verb, but it depends on the subject used after this verb. Okay, I'm going to give an example. There dash a boy is or are. What should be the answer? Is or are. There is or there are. Okay, here there is not the subject, the subject is a boy, that's why you have to use there is a boy. Okay, there is a boy. Clear to you? If I say there dash Rajiv and Ronnie, what should be the answer? Is or are. What should be the answer? There is or are. Here Rajiv and Ronnie. Here Rajiv and Ronnie is the subject and this subject belongs to plural. That's why you have to use there are. So up to this part, within 2 class I have completed 7 words and phrases. The first one was what if, the second one was what's it like, the third one was what does blah blah look like, the fourth one was let alone, the fifth was one introductory it, the sixth one was as soon as, the seventh one was no sooner scarcely hardly, and the eighth one is introductory there. Actually I have completed 8, not 7. What if, what's it like, what does blah blah look like, let alone, introductory it, as soon as, no sooner scarcely hardly, and the last one was introductory there. So my dear students of intermediate first year, thank you for your active participation today. Actually I have another class with you that will be held on next Saturday at 10 AM. I would like to continue with this question because I have not come to an end regarding the learning of question number 3. I will take 1 class more and I hope I will get you in my next class. So my dear students, this is all for today. Thank you for being with me. I would like to invite you to my next class that will be held on next Saturday. Till then, stay safe and blessed with your family members and nearest and dearest ones. Thank you. Goodbye.